neuro-inclusive housing framework is a way in which we can scale solutions. If you want to create neuro-inclusive housing solutions, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are 3 core elements that can be provided by the same business or organization or through partnerships. The first is housing. There are housing developers that focus on market rate housing, home ownership, subdivisions, affordable housing. You don't have to become a housing provider to help develop housing. You actually can help encourage and educate those developers that are already in your local area and how they can meet the needs of a neurodiverse population. You want to make sure that it's going to be cognitively accessible as well as physically accessible. You then need to consider, in the neuro-inclusive housing framework, long-term support services. As a housing developer that wants to develop for this population, you don't need to provide individual long-term support services. There are many organizations that are already Medicaid approved to be able to provide individualized long-term support services. By disconnecting housing and services, you become what's called a consumer-controlled property. And as a consumer-controlled property, consumers get to choose their preferred service delivery model and their preferred long-term support provider. Additionally, you want to think about, well, who can potentially provide supportive amenities? Supportive amenities are the extras that a property can offer. Planned activities to deal with isolation, life skills classes like cooking and housekeeping, relationship classes, maybe community navigation, somebody who's going to help foster networks within the local community, job navigation, people who can help make those job and employer connections for your residents. That can also be provided by another entity, community-based organizations. So if you're looking to create housing, yes, you could be the housing developer, you could be a long-term support service provider, and you could provide supportive amenities. But you don't have to, because there are others out there who likely would like to partner with you. We have a great opportunity to show how public, private, philanthropic, and not-for-profits can work together in order to create local solutions across the country. In fact, it is by scaling the talents, the strengths, and the focus of each of those elements and bringing people together, acting as the glue, where we can actually create more options faster. There's no need for a service provider to learn how to develop housing, and a housing developer definitely shouldn't learn how to provide long-term support services, and there's lots of community-based organizations out there doing amazing things that I'm sure know that their constituents also need housing. So reach out, figure out what's going to be your lane, and go create some neuro-inclusive housing.